bottom right-hand side, it is the blue Protoss player for Team Cascade, GunGFuBanDa. Nothing to note here.
Yeah, there's really nothing outside the ordinary. I think this map is still one of the ones that I want to see more development on. I like this map. Elazer with the... That's a bit of a quick one, right? As far as third bases go, Cats?
It's a quick one, and it's a forward one, more importantly. No one takes this third base unless you have a plan for it. Elazer is a very timing-oriented player, so if I see this, and I am GunGFuBanDa, if I take note of this, I think you have to anticipate something like a roach attack coming, right, Nate?
Right. Yeah, that's what makes sense, right? Or like some sort of queen-based timing where you use that forward creep to at least move those guys forward.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, that's... Is that something that you've seen a lot of on this map? I haven't felt like this is like the all-in or kill people map personally, but some people have gone for some pretty big attacks here.
Yeah, that's just the thing. You're completely right. It is not a short map by any means. It is actually one of the... It is like a medium-sized to long map, so... it's not that map usually, but given that Elazer has taken this forward hatchery, it shortens the distance quite a bit, right? And it makes it good for the likes of roaches, or like you were pointing out, even queens. Any unit that's bad at normally moving gets advantage from, you know, spawning a little bit closer to their opponent. So we'll see what he uses it for, or if it's just if there's just another reason for this hatchery. I'm not sure.
At the end of the day, it could also just be a mind game, right? Make GunGFuBanDa scout it and think to himself, oh, maybe I can't get away with something greedy. Maybe I can't get away with something tech-based. Or, you know, and it could also just be like an option type play, right? Where Elazer just wants to be able to like hit a switch if he scouts like a fast fleet beacon, for example, and it feels like he can make that forward attack more easily. Maybe it's not something that he decided on before the game started, but he wants to have that available in his playbook, you know, to go to if he needs it.
Yeah, that one I will find a little bit harder to believe, just on the basis, not on the basis that it's an inaccurate analysis, but rather on the basis that it's Elazer, and he's one of the most plan-oriented players out there. So I think he probably has a plan. Like, I think he probably is gonna do something with it. But I don't know. Only time will tell.
Yeah. Well, he's going for a lair. He's getting that lair up with this 3-base setup. So at this time, with the lair, he has a single extractor. What's he doing here?
Yeah, I was thinking, you know what? Like, we did a lot of foreshadowing here without noticing, but this could very well be swarm hosts as well, right? It could be a swarm host push with those. I'm just saying, Nate, like the forward hatchery, it does make sense for swarm hosts quite a bit. There is a roach warren coming up, and X-ray is coming up as well, Nate. It's looking a little bit hosty.
Okay, well, I'm gonna dare to dream that it won't be that. We do have resonating glaives out of GunGFuBanDa though, and this is something that's like we get this every now and again, but I don't think we saw anybody make a big glaives play yesterday. Mana on this map maybe was the only one, I think, in game 1 of his PvZ. He went for, I think, was like 12 or so adepts. So on this map, is there a reason people do it? Oh my god, there's the Nidus. Well, is it just a regular Nidus all in? I'm okay with that. It can be a regular Nidus. Just don't build an infestation pit.
Yeah, it's looking like a regular Nidus all-in. I mean, he did make extra queens, and Elazer has done a very good job of not overreacting to the starport. There was only one spore made at the natural, no spore in the main or the third. That's very greedy, and that's gonna allow him to have a few more units than normal because GunGFu didn't find a way to punish it. Elazer really likes these little edges.
Can you defend this with just the depths? Can you even defend this with the depths?
I don't think so. It's going to be very difficult. The roaches are the big problem, but if the adepts hit first, they won't. All right, yeah, this is looking extremely difficult for GunGFu, especially because his adepts are nowhere near Elazer to start doing counter damage. He went all the way around to not get spotted, but this is just going to cost him dearly as the first Nidus arrives. There is a little bit of a trap from the Oracle, but not enough to do enough counter damage, I think, Nate. Oh, Elazer actually going for the defense instead.
Oh my god, and he surrounds all of the adepts. Well, why not, right? He has so many roaches and queens. It's not like these adepts were ever really going to be able to do anything anyway, because he already had so many units out on the map, and he's wasting his time trying to protect this third base. Meanwhile, he's got some bigger problems to worry about, like a subterranean tunnel going into his back door. GG, Elazer takes game number 1. And Appalachia. So we're loaded into game number 2. In the northwest, we have the red Zerg player leading the series 1-0 after a cheeky Nidus. He is Elazer.
Bottom right-hand side, one of the best Protoss in Europe. Certainly in Germany. It is GunGFuBanDa.
That was the moment where I was like, all right, it's time to stop going out in the woods at night alone. Don't want to know who lives in the hole in the campground that isn't registered or listed anywhere.
Certainly not today. Do you think some people are gonna go there today? Like some people would be there. Yeah. Some people must know about it, right?
I would be surprised if nobody lived there at this point. But yeah, whether, you know, dead or alive, honestly, could be undead for all we know. But yeah, of course, that sounds like a great place to go have a party. Just bring bring everything. You know what I mean?
Yes,
bring everything. Yeah, Louisville Slugger, my best friend.
The scariest, spookiest thing that has happened to me is there was supposedly a ghost that lived in my house in Peru, right? Like this is what the adults told the kids.
Oh, what?
Yeah, and or are you whating about the game? Hopefully not. You're whating about the game.
No.
Okay. Yeah, the game looks pretty normal, guys.
We're waiting for the Oracle to come out before, you know, we're waiting for something to happen here. It's a Stargate opener. There's adepts being made. All right, don't get in a bunch. Everything's fine.
Yeah, there were a lot of stories being told in my household about this ghost and like adults and their experiences with this ghost. Me and my friends all knew about the ghost because they would visit me regularly. My cousin, who was one of my best friends, also knew. And we would sometimes go to my cousin's house, which was upstairs, and we would record songs, right? Like we would sing, and my friends played the guitar and other instruments, and we would have kind of a band that just played fun songs. And one of our songs was To the Ghost. And there was a chorus, I guess, you know, where we yelled, "We are not afraid of you. Come for us now." And this is at night, right?
Why would you do that?
Because we're not afraid of it. It's not a real ghost, right? Surely. So certainly my friends are not. Yeah, we kind of asked for it. And we are yelling like, "We're not afraid of you. Come get us now," or something. It was like a metal song or something of the likes. And then the PC that we were recording on, and the entire lights for the whole floor just shut off completely, and we were just about to piss ourselves. It was so scary.
So your mom was listening and flipped the breaker.
I don't know. That would have been brilliant, though.
That's some 300 IQ. That's the kind of messed up thing my dad would do to me if we did that. Just one kill on the Oracle, by the way. Loses the shields, doesn't take any real damage. Second one comes in, it's gonna get a little scoop and score on a few of those, but takes a lot more damage. Losing Oracles early on is that's not good.
Yeah, this is not terrible though. It did a little bit of damage and also forced a few cancels onto the Spore Crawler. So not the worst thing in the world, and it's annoying to Elazer, who again is a very square player in his approach, right? Like he's gonna go for what he's gonna go for. Right now, he's kind of been even in workers this entire game. He's just now pulling ahead, so it's not a bad start for GunGfu, who went for 3 oracles and adepts. Once again, this man is bananas.
Yeah, well, I do feel like at the very least, the way that he set himself up, even if it's still like Stargates with some adepts, got a lot of utility. Goes to the big stasis in the main. Gets almost every drone, both queens. The Oracle escapes. Can't ask for too much more than that. And oh my God, no. It's happening again, Cat. He can't keep getting away with it. Okay, he's not.
Yeah, we'll see it. I mean, there's much less commitment on the side of GunGfu. Insta teleport back there. But yeah, really cool what he did with the stasis trap whilst harassing with the other 2 oracles as well, GunGfu that is. But this is such a greedy and kind of weak to roaches build so far, right? Like he's gone adepts again. They're not great against roaches. Oracles, not particularly good against roaches, like whereas a void ray would be much better. Zealots, they can get kited, and I'm not sure why he even has 3 zealots right now because he's nowhere near charge. And just now making his first immortal, which is the only unit he's gonna have that actually deals with roaches well.
Yeah, just the way, like comparing the way that this has played out to the last game, there's infinitely more utility and whatnot available for GunGFuBanDa, but that doesn't mean it's going to be easy to hold. Those Ravager Biles well placed, as well as making sure that those queens get the transfuses off on time if the Ravagers get targeted down. But These Biles going straight into the middle, going to hit some of the workers back on the way out. Overcharges the shield battery, but Cats, that's right up front. Easy to shut that down for Elazer. And now GunGFuBanDa is going to retreat into his 2-base Protoss turtle shell as that third gets eaten alive by the Zerg monsters. Trying to push up the ramp, though, with the Ravagers is a little bit risky. One of them does immediately get picked up. He's going to put a Nidus in his face. Okay, well, there you go, Cats. This really is turning into a horror movie. But for GunGFuBanDa.
Yes, indeed. It's pretty scary here. I mean, the Immortal is trying to get rid of the Nidus, trying to put some damage onto it right now. There's a lot of Zerglings, so GunGFuBanDa actually got a lot of use out of those Oracles and Adepts that I was saying were not going to be very good against Roaches, because Elazer is primarily going for Ravagers and Lynx instead. So GunGfu has now a more stable army composition. He might be able to hold, but obviously this is a very strong timing by Elazer, and he's a specialist when it comes to these.
Yeah, this doesn't... I mean, what do you do with this in this position? There's 8 Queens. He's got, what, 6 Ravagers, 50 Zerglings, odd some out there. He's building Nidus. He's got this, obviously he's got the Nidus. He's building Creep Tumors outside of it to keep that spread there, so it's even more difficult for him to move back and try to take any of these other bases. And all the meanwhile, Elazer getting his Hydralisk Den, getting his Baneling tech up. And that's, well, I mean, a Dark Shrine coming down in this late, honestly, feels really late relative to when all of this stuff hit. That's oh, well, if you're not looking.
Yeah, that's a huge one. The thing for GunGfu here is how fast can I break out and how fast can I apply counter pressure. Elazer very smartly is gonna go defend, and GunGfu already with the Oracles out. Now, note, Nate, that actually worker-wise, GunGfu is pretty healthy if he can just retake his third fast enough. It's an issue of timing here. He needs to get out. He needs to push this back. Oh, actually killing the Nidus is huge because he might have trapped the Queens. Good blink forward as well. And yeah, there's DTs available. I don't actually hate this position for GunGfu. I don't think it's anywhere near unwinnable.
Yeah, he's got a good army, right? That's the biggest risk when you do this type of play for Zerg. You need to make sure that it's not as much about what you're doing while you have that contain, like on the Protoss side of the map. It's about what you're doing to make sure that you don't lose as soon as the Protoss breaks out, right? If they just kill all the Swarm, or if they kill all the Ravagers, if they get through the Queens, you need to make sure that you're not just going to die to a big counterattack like the Protoss saves up for one big haymaker, so to speak, to end the game. And I don't think that Elazer has gone too far down the path of greed to be able to hold a counter. I don't know that a counter is actually going. GunGFuBanDa just seems like he wants to clean up the creep, clean up the Nidus, play it a little bit safe, but a couple of these Adepts going to get grabbed outside of that third base. And every unit is going to be pretty important in this type of situation. This game's been really scrappy. I wonder how each player actually feels about their position right now. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think that Elazer is doing the right things on his end as he evolves into a hive so that he can get the Vipers out. Because if he can get those Vipers for the Disruptors and the Colossus, he'll be in a good position. Otherwise, GunGfu, I think he has a good army. And I was going to say I would love if he double expanded. He is now double expanding. Unfortunately for him, he's going to get punished for it. It looks like as the Zerglings of Elazer are moving towards his base. However, this is still a very scary army on the side of GunGfu. I don't even know if those Banelings have speed right now. So,
no,
yeah,
I don't think he was ever able to get it. Oh no, he did. Okay, yeah, never mind. Wow.
Nice.
It's good. Yeah, like I was saying, he's been on top of the follow-up, right, to the Nidus.
Yeah.
It's not, if you can't actually win the game off of it, then it's all about making sure that you can get to the next step back home. Because there are a lot of Zerg players who will die on that hill, right? With like, oh, I'm gonna defend this little siege spot, and I think I can just starve you out. But then you realize, like, oh my god, well, I actually can't build enough to kill all this Protoss once it gets through one army. And there's still something to be scared of. Loses a couple of Overlords. Thankfully, it's Elazer, so he's still at 200 supply. But,
he had 140 out of 200. Yeah, he was ready for those. So he's been ready to lose some. But now supply blocked actually as he nears max. This is scary from GunGfu because there is Vipers out now. I'm not sure if they have the energy yet, but Elazer is gonna collapse onto the army regardless, as there is a lot of Zerg here, and GunGfu has to get out. If these Vipers make their way back into that army, then he's gonna start punishing those very expensive and key units in the Colossus and the Disruptors.
Yeah, the Vipers should be, in this situation, enough to just win the game, right? There's not really, like if he just yoinks the two Colossi right now, there's nothing he can really do other than blink the Stalkers forward and then they're at risk. And similarly, you can kind of go through this.
Oh,
Good preemptive force field. Gets one of the Vipers. All the probes, though, got blown up during that, too. So shout out to the probe ghosts now, I guess, pretending to mine.
Yeah, and shout out to our observer as well for catching all of that. Very well done. These banelings, I mean, GunGFu didn't certainly. Okay, these banelings are not gonna connect, but this is still looking like a very scary army, and the Elazer has used that as a distraction to get himself positioning. This is gonna be extremely difficult to engage for GunGFu. I would love to see some attempts at like stalkers being blinked into banelings or something of the sort to absorb shots, because I mean, GunGFu needs some big plays here, Nate. It's gonna be hard to find.
Yeah, this is a tough spot to be in, right? Because you get the abducts. I think the abduct does depend on where the Viper is. If you fly it that close, then yes, it's a few feet. So bit of a misplay there by Elazer, as he not only misses the abducts and loses more of his army, but he loses all of those Vipers. Not cheap, cats. Vipers are one of the most expensive units, I feel like, for Zerg, and they are incredibly important.
Yes, indeed. Very gas intensive, especially when you're going Hydra Baneling behind it, right? It's not like you have gas to spare. He's making 3 more Vipers, but that's all the gas that Elazer has to work with really for now. So he has to be a little bit more careful indeed on the side of GunGFu. I mean, he's nearing saturation on 4 bases, but it's so difficult to secure them, right? Ideally, if you're GunGFu at this point, you would like to have some cannons or something of the likes. At this point, he's gonna have to move his army between bases wherever Elazer is poking, and there is the next poke of Zerglings. It's gonna do more damage than the DTs have found for GunGFu on the other end. I love what he's doing with the DTs, though, Nate. Check him out. They're just chilling
this is exactly the kind of play you want to make, right? He had that one pocketed in the northeast. He's been waiting to use it because he's got this other DT that we have running into the natural. And Dark Templar are a unit of opportunity, right? It's about taking advantage of the Zerg's non-preparedness for it the first time that you throw it at them. So the one DT in the main gets cleaned up. I don't know that the one in the northeast really got much. Some solid force field, but the Banelings still connect, and the Vipers are here. Cats, they're going to put both Colossi into the range of the Hydra.
Oh, no.
And the monstrous Zerg army is going to swallow this Protoss force.
Yeah, I'm not sure what GunGFu was really expecting getting out on the map like that. I mean, he has to know his opponent is still maxed, and he has to know he's at 130 supply or whatever he's at. So his win condition was much further down the line in teching up, or at least having enough units that if you abduct, 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, you still have some backbone to your army. Instead, he's gonna get cleaned up, and it's looking like the beginning of the end as Elazer pushes on forward.
Yeah, trying to throw some zealots as a counterattack to buy time. You want to try and make the Zerg think they need to run all the way back home, but Elazer, he is a little bit too on top of things right now. He definitely wants to kill this base. He recognizes that he's in a stellar position. The Vipers are going to go up, yoink the Immortals, those big, powerful, very important units, and the High Templar. I mean, they have a hard time getting close. GG is called Elazer with the 2-0.